Let's talk to our guest this morning. Andy Purcell's with me. He works as an RSPB volunteer at Sandwell Valley. Andy, good morning.
Hello,
and
Bob.
welcome.
Good morning.
Now, you've got a spanking new, exciting building, haven't you, on the back of the old place being burnt down?
Unfortunately, yes. But the building we've got now is phenomenal. I mean, it's absolutely nearly £500,000 worth. 3 different funding parties have actually produced, have given us the money, RSPB, HLF, and we've had money as well, obviously, from insurance company, etc.
And you've got solar panels on it, haven't you?
Solar panels, they've just come into action. We had them fitted on the 11th, and it looks as though we're going to get about 99% of our electricity produced, which is phenomenal, yes.
Now, I mean, this particular site, I mean, I always think that, you think Sandwell Valley, you think of houses, and yet the view from this place is extraordinary, isn't it?
Absolutely, you can't see houses. Absolutely stunning. In the winter, maybe you can. I'm cheating a bit there, but and some of the birds that are coming in now, of course, are fairly rare, and they're coming in very early because of this extra warm weather, which is nice.
Yeah. Can they, when they're flying, can they see somewhere like this and they know that it's there?
I think they're beginning to learn, yes. The site was started in the 1980s, although a group that I worked with, Folks on Wildlife, we actually did a lot of survey work in the 70s. But since the RSPB have taken the section over of the balancing lake, it's been phenomenal. And so with the new centre, it's just people walk in and go, wow, because it is such a beautiful place.
Yeah. Talking of your impressive visitors, I don't mean those on 2 feet, I mean those with webbed feet, possibly.
Yes.
You've got a terrific photograph for us of a snipe, haven't you?
Sure, yeah. Well, that's one of our probably commonest rare birds, to think that we can get this time of the year up to 120, maybe common snipe, and maybe 15, 19 jack snipe. I mean, that's just really unheard of, considering we're completely surrounded by houses.
You must have to be incredibly patient to get photographs as good as this.
Yes. Modern equipment really does help as well. And having such an excellent hide as well helps. And visitors are allowed to come. Our visitor numbers have definitely started increasing. Obviously, having 4 years before the building was rebuilt, it was a bit fractioned, because it was just difficult people, hadn't got any facilities. But now it's fantastic,
Tell me about your friend Peggy, the oyster catcher.
Well, she normally comes in about another fortnight. She's been coming. We put virtually 20 tonne of gravel on an area to make what would look like to the birds a shingle beach. And because of that, we've started getting obviously various birds in that we probably normally wouldn't get. You certainly wouldn't get them dropping in your back garden. But we've been having this oyster catcher. She came in 9 years ago, which is when we first put literally within a fortnight of putting the gravel down. And she's come back every year and reared chicks every year, which is phenomenal. And she came this year, middle of December, which, she shouldn't be here for another 6 weeks. So she must love the place.
And where's the name Peggy come from then?
Well, unfortunately, about 3 years ago, she came back to us and she'd got wire wrapped or fishing line wrapped round her foot. I'm presuming she goes to the coast in the winter because obviously there's probably more food there, and it tends not to freeze like we could have the lake freeze up and things like that. But it lasted about 6-7 months, and then the foot dropped off. And she doesn't seem to bother. She does walk around like a little sort of little soldier the way but she does everything. And she certainly looks after her chicks. And we think that she seems to get most of her food from probably a compost heap on the golf course. They have a big, obviously, where they cut the greens. But she comes back with beautiful worms. I mean, fishermen would love to find where she gets the worms from.
And just very briefly, there was a pinto, which again is a rare one, isn't it?
Yes, that's not a bird we'd get hundreds of, but to see something like that, we get one probably 2 or 3 times a year, but one dropped in Thursday, I think it was, last week, and she's swimming around, and that's, beautiful bird to see. And of course the birders love anything that's unusual because they haven't got to drive off 100 miles to the coast.
Right, well, in part 2 we will talk some more with Andy, and what I can tell you is we'll look at some of the simply extraordinary photographs he's taken. What a birdman. Andy Purcell's with me. As you can see, he's from Sandwell Valley. He's an RSPB volunteer and a photographer of some note. I hope we can see the first picture now, and this is of a fox. Well, it's a vixen, isn't it?
Vixen,
to be exact,
yes.
Lapping water. Is this at Sandwell Valley?
No, actually, that's in my garden.
Really?
Because I wasn't very well last year, as you noticed, I was on crutches when I came in, although I'm getting a lot better now. I've made a pool in front of my studio window, and I sit in the studio working, doing macro photography and things like that. And they come and visit and come and drink out of my pool, and it's eye level to my seat. So it's cheating, really, but the foxes love it and I love it.
How? I mean, it is an extraordinary photograph. I mean, how is this flash photography involved in that?
Yes, that's taken at night. It doesn't look like it, but the actual garden, we have 16 lights like you have in your studio.
Yeah.
And they, as the fox comes, they all light up. And
it doesn't bother them now?
No, they don't take any notice. I use flash guns as well, they don't bother.
And they bring their cubs as well. They're probably coming in to be photographed. They're saying, hey, this guy takes pictures.
That's right. Well, a little bit of food as well, you see. And also we get a squirrel visit.
Right.
But they haven't quite caught that
no,
yet. They try
fair
to.
enough. Yeah. So, I mean, they are terrific photographs, as I've said, and we'll see some more in a minute. But what got you into taking photographs then?
Well, as a youngster, when I was 6, I had a little Brownie 127 film camera, little plastic sort of toy camera, you'd call it nowadays, compared to what you'd get as a digital camera that a child could have. But and my father was a photographer, an industrial photographer, but he loved nature as well. Very, very good naturalist, loved mountaineering, walking, etc. And he got me into it. And my first photograph, I didn't really understand what I was doing, and I took a picture through my bedroom window of a sparrow in the tree outside my bedroom, and it was just a triangular blob that on a bit of a sticky something when Dad processed it, and I was a bit disappointed with that. Now I use 800mm lenses, 500mm lenses, macro lenses, Unfortunately, I've got a very understanding wife.
Well, you must have, yes. My word. Now, talking of progress from the blurry, hard-to-see sparrow, take a look at this. I hope we can see this now. This is a picture of a kingfisher. It is a simply terrific photograph. I mean, where did you get that?
That was taken in Worcester, actually, and it's an area where you have to have a licence for photographing kingfishers near a nest, and we got licences for photographing them. And this is where it comes to rest in a little pool to look. Again, it's a little bit of a setup, really, but it's the only way to do it properly. To get really good quality pictures.
But I mean, as we could see from that reflection, I mean, it's absolutely pin sharp, isn't it? I mean, how much time does it take to become that good? If you've got 800mm lens on there, you've got to be pretty steady, haven't you?
Yes, you do use, like you, big tripods. Yeah. Got to be steady. We use a thing called the gimbal that swings around, and that restricts you a little bit. Lads that do hand-holding photography, obviously, can move around much more quickly, but so you generally tend to work with hides and things like that. But I do quite a lot of birds will accept you if you just stand still, you don't dash around, you don't shout, and don't move too quickly. But kingfishers aren't overly keen on you moving at all.
No, they're difficult, aren't they, to get?
The setup, that's why it's an upright picture. The setup has to be set up. You hope they land where you hope, because if you move your lens, they go.
Because we haven't got a lot of time left, let's have a look at this picture of an osprey. This was taken in America, wasn't it?
That's Florida, yes. In fact, probably about now 3 years ago. And I had a couple of trips, and believe it or not, they had the bad snows. Both times we were scraping ice off the windscreen. And in Florida, which we couldn't believe, wearing all the clothes we'd taken, because obviously. But I waited 8 hours to get that. On the side of a lagoon, because we could see she was hunting for a fish, but she just couldn't, with the ripples on the water, it was quite windy, she couldn't see where the fish was, and so she just kept going around and coming back, and I knew she'd come back till she had that fish.
And the thing is now, of course, that you get that picture and you instantly can look at the back and see it, can't you?
Brilliant. Yes.
You like that, do you?
You don't have to wait 2 days.
So do you not do any roll film developing and printing now?
I kept my last roll film camera, my Nikon F5, absolutely stunning little camera. And I'd almost think I'd spray it gold, put it on the sideboard, because. But there again, there might be a day, we don't know. Electronics things might
wait
go
for the
off.
wheel to turn.
I might need film again.
Well, it's fascinating stuff, and it's great that you've got this great new attraction at Sandwell Valley.
Yes.
All power to your elbow. Andy Purcell, thank you so much for being with us. Really good to see those pictures. And is it open pretty well all year?
Yes, it's open all through. And obviously weekends we have activities for the children, etc.
Right.
Mondays and Tuesdays we do close to the public.
We've got to go to the break.